Okay, so I'm going to do the second Maxcom 4E from the customer. We haven't published his on the air test for the Fidelity 2000 because we weren't happy with transmitted audio background noise, so we'll just have to see what's causing that. I'll have to slot it in. Now the customer's recapped this Maxcom 4E, so before we do any preliminary tests, I just want to make sure that the board's clean, because it can affect tuning. Hopefully this is straightforward, works a treat. We're out in 35 minutes and we can on the air test it today. The DNT base station, Mr. Chippie did the dry joints on that, now it doesn't transmit. Never. No doubt there'll be something else dry jointish. That looks nice. Just have a look round here. These don't suffer from dry joints usually, but just do some potential ones I can spot. This would affect speech processing. Is that a crack? No. Good. There's a potential one there. Heat there. Because obviously we want this to work for another 40 years before it needs servicing again. Now I'm just going to do this because it'll take some drying, but I still need to nearly use the Servicol switch cleaner then instead of the Servicol IPA. Actually been 1/8 of an inch of snow. For what it's worth, that's probably about all the winter we get. Mind you, it's pretty cold at 2 degrees. And there's only a 500 watt heater in here. We normally worry about air conditioning in this room, but it's a bit cool to be working. Well, I'll come back to that when I've printed off a sheet. I'll take that back to Mr. Chippie's bench before he notices it's missing. Okay, so let's hope it's dry enough. He's provided a mic, and it's exactly what we would buy in the properly shielded cables. These, not these ones which are just 4 wires and no shield. So that's fine. That looks absolutely splendid, and just you know what, I won't unsolder the speaker at this point. We'll use his power lead. It's got a ferrite thingy around it for whatever reason. See if I can actually make out how many amps that is. 2, that's fine. Just take the precaution of running the fiberglass brush in the fuse holder, seeing as it's his power lead. So what's all this eBay thing about adding 75p onto things for some buyer's protection racket? So when you're selling 75p items and they add 75p on, that neatly doubles the price, doesn't it? What we're going to do is set up an account on Vinted instead. You know, when you buy records of no value and the 10p, And then they had 75 pence. It sounds a real clever move. I wonder who thought of that. Some millionaire in an office with no thought on reality. Anyway, we'll see what happens on the 4th of February when it all turns to poo. That's nice and tight. Extension speaker into extension speaker, PA into PA speaker. We're switched on. It's lit up. It's on 19 for whatever bizarre reason anybody would want to be on 19. Right, PA. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Well, that works great, doesn't it? You've certainly done the capacitors. I can see quite a few of them changed. They don't suffer from capacitor problems, these sets, but there you go. It's not going to do any harm, especially around the amplifier where I think they do stick out nicely. Right, so PA works, meter lamp works, mic works. How about that for a start? Let's go in for transmit. I think this is his most spot on set, he said, and right, we'll put picture in picture on. It is on. We're on channel 20 and he ain't doing, oh, we're on 12 volts. Let's go to 13.8. It's doing 2.9 watts. Let's go to the channels. Channel 40, it's doing 2.8 watts. Channel 1, doing 3 watts. And that's the kind of what you'd expect. I better switch the other test set on, because we're going to want to do the deviation. So where's my pen gone? Anyone seen where I've put it? I've only had it 30 seconds ago. It's there. Back to channel 20. Low power. And it is 210 milliwatts. And power consumption is 983 milliamps. We don't do the VCO unless there's a fault, because I need to add parts in. So the RF meter, when you key up on full power, it says 4, except it's doing 3. Right, that's a jolly good start. Signal generator on, and let's see what our SINAD reading is. It's certainly receiving nicely. And let's put the camera over to the SINAD meter. There's the SINAD meter, and we have got, oh, it's not brilliant, it's 0.98. Now the manufacturer says better than 1. Well, that is better than 1, so it's still within spec. 0.98. And then for 10 dB, it's 0.94. And for 20 dB, if it ever does it, it does do it, it's 1.6. Squelch on full. 3, 10, let's show you the attenuator. 10, 30, 100. I want it to come in at 100. 3, never comes in. Doesn't mean that it ever will. Never opens. Turn the squelch down, turn the signal generator down to 0.3, switch it to standby at 0.3, set the squelch to the threshold on the radio. There we go. Signal generator back on, and that sounds very. I'll just knock the tuning. 7, 27, 7, 9. Just one moment, folks, while I reset the signal generator. should have checked what frequency the radio's on first. So we'll just go to the frequency counter, and it's on 2779092. 2779092. That's not out or anything, but we'll just pull it up, and then we'll carry on with testing the receiver. We did test the receiver, test the squelch. 2779092. There we go, spot on. I'll have to retest the receiver now, because that was flawed test. 125. Yep, and just go back to the SINAD meter. 10 dB. I mean, sorry, 12 is exactly the same. Yeah, it's wide enough for it to be the same. That's all right. Deviation on this test set, wallow, so it's 2.2, which it probably is. And squelch threshold. We'll just start again with the squelch test. So it never opens. Squelch set. 0.9, so that's okay. S meter, sometimes they're adjustable, sometimes they're not. This one is, it's got the extra preset. Oh my goodness, it's insensitive, isn't it? So S9 on this is a real lazy needle. It's 1.9 millivolts. Right, see if we can get something more out of the transmitter. Usually can. Go over to the camera 1. Here goes. Just keep on the 3 watt scale until I get 3 scale full scale deflection. So we're looking for the centre of the peak, not just the peak, the centre of the peak. You have to go beyond it and retrace our steps, otherwise you end up with lopsidedness, which you probably get anyway. So I think we've got, obviously it comes down, the power comes down as the radio heats up, but we're about at 2.95 watts now, so we've gained 50 milliwatts, haven't we? That's gone over 3 watts now. So it's about 3.2 on that adjustment, and then the power set on this one in the naughty corner just see if we can balance it between those two. We're at 3.9 and the set's hot, of course. That's spot on the 4, and that's made it spot on the 4. So it might just be 4.1, but I'm sure the DTI isn't going to come round for that. Let's see what we've got on the other channels. Channel 1 is 4.05, channel 40, 3.95. So 4 watts, 4.05 watts and 3.95 watts. And now the transmit current, we go back to channel 20, is now 1.05. So we've gained an extra watt for, what, 200 milliamps? There you are, improved the efficiency there. Right, let's deal with low power. So switch the radio to low power, switch the test set to its 3 watt scale. We now have 180 milliwatts, so let's see what we can get 400 milliwatts. We can, look at that. What's that done? I'll come back to the deviation. So let's see if we can get the receiver better. 100 microvolts on the test set. So we've got an S9 equivalent for UKCB, that is S9, and detector. Enough volume for a sensible trace when we get the oscilloscope up on the inset picture. No, it's not that one, it's this one. Oh, that was out. Yeah, one of the things when you do recapping, it is going to affect the way the tuning is. So he's right to send it in. I'm not charging him for dry joints or anything, just be a retuning test by the looks of this. Okay, so we set the signal generator to about 4 dB on the SINAD meter, like that, if we can get into the picture, and we'll see whether we can get a bit more out of the front end, etc. The answer is yes. So I turn down the signal generator. No, that's about right. I didn't turn it up a bit to do the IF. Okay, so we now got it to 0.36 microvolts. And for 10 dB, 0.34. And for 20 dB, 0.65. So we'll set that meter. Put S9 back on the signal generator, and we're already showing a bit more, it's S6, and let's adjust that preset on the meter, and that brings us to S9. So next, squelch. So we'll turn squelch to full once again. Let's put the attenuator up on the inset picture. So I'd like it to open at 100 microvolts, but 1, 3, 10, 30, 100 it doesn't, and it still doesn't ever open. So let's see whether we can knock things on the floor and adjust that squelch, which is there. So that's full as I understand it. Yeah. So at full, or minimum internal squelch, what we got? 230 microvolts for full squelch. That's all right. And for minimum squelch now, same test, signal generator to standby, turn the squelch down on the radio, set to threshold, signal generator back on, 0.45, that's better. It was 0.9 before. That's done. Did we do the RF? I don't think we did the RF meter, did we? So go back to transmit. Transmit meter's the back one. Remember, it's only going to read right into a dummy load. If we put the aerial on it, it won't. So, oh look, I'm doing 10 million watts. Oh, this radio's rubbish, it's only doing 1. No, you can only tell into a dummy load. Right, plugging into the other test set behind me. Deviation, and let's see what it says. Wow, it's a bit low, 1.8. Wow, so there we are, we're done. So we'll turn that test set off. We'll turn the other test set off. We'll turn everything else off. Just put a couple of screws on to hold it together. Of course, that's always on the wrong way round. Well, that's a credit to him. He's done a good job of that recap and a quick retune, and it's a splendid radio. The problem with the Fidelity 2000, we've got a background noise on transmit. We just need to get to the bottom of it. I did put half an hour into it today, but with church and that, I thought we'll get on with the other Maxcom. Then at least we've only got one pesky set for the customer. We've got the pesky DNT for the DNT customer. And I'm trying to get that scanner 40 out. Meanwhile, we've got jobs queuing up. TCB 1100, and we've got a CPT Maxcom 1000 or a realistic 2005, whatever it is. 19, Roger. Sunday evening, 7 o'clock-ish. TX light works.
So yeah, happy as pig in shit, Rich.
Oh well, he's happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. What a lovely set. Thanks for watching.